No? There we go. Evening, y'all. How's it? Hopefully you guys are doing well this week. We are pushing through the Brutal Death month quite swiftly. We're up to the second last week, actually. So, yeah, as usual, joined with my awesome, now betrothed co-host, Alec Gillicker. Momentum, how's it going?
Good, thanks, and you?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surviving. Things are going pretty damn well your side. Anyway, yes, congratulations to yourself and Chelsea. Wishing you guys a lifetime of rocking memories ahead. So, yeah, cool kids unite.
Cool kids unite. Cool, man.
With that in mind, I couldn't think of a better segue than talking and greeting the purveyors of groovy, bone-crushing romance. We got Ashish, we've got Theo, we're joined by Resurrection of Fetal Remains. Greetings, guys.
What's up, guys? Yeah, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here, and very, very congratulations to you, Alec. That's awesome that you and Chelsea have finally taken on this great journey together.
Thanks,
it's awesome.
Thank you.
All the best for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good times. But let's get into something a little bit more brutal, a little bit more visceral, because this is a bit soft here. So yeah, Theo, why did you kick us off? For anybody that kind of doesn't know the band, you've gone through a couple of changes over the years and whatnot, but who were the bands that kind of hooked you into the Brutal Death sound? Because we've spoken about this over this month, and there's kind of a small pocket of peeps that actually proactively get into this. So who were the bands that got you into Brutal Death and wanting to get into the folks?
Well, definitely Cattle Decapitation. Travis Ryan is like my hero. I look up to that guy just insane. And then it was just weird underground bands like Funeral Rape and Cemetery Rapist, Cunt Grinder, all of the Satan's Revenge on Mankind, Hyman Holocaust, all of those weird shit. And I just always loved the weird gutturals and the pig squealing and what they did, and just the instrument, it's groovy, but it's so hard, especially if that snare is tuned so tight that if you hit the snare, it's like that. I love that shit. If you go listen to Satan's Revenge on Mankind, they do that shit all the time, and it just blows my mind. So yeah, it basically we originally started in Middelburg, me, Desmond, and Vian, our guitarist, and we just wanted to try and create something unique and something new. So we came up with the name Resurrection of Fetal Remains, thinking, well, people like zombies, so why wouldn't they like zombie babies? And it's actually an abortion that's been resurrected. And that is also why some of the subject themes in the songs, it's a little sexist if you actually read the lyrics, but we don't see it as that. We just see it as we poking fun at feminazis and things like that. Because if you, a normal person, and you listen to the music and you actually get to talk to me and stuff, you'll understand I'm not a chauvinistic pig or anything, but it's fun to write about, So, and I mean, we are the resurrection of Fetal Remains. We hate our mothers because we've been aborted, in this alternate universe type deal situation thing going on, And the way it started is we just the very first song we wrote was actually Cunt Carving Crematorium, and from there we wrote Fucked Inside, and then our all-time favorite one would be Flesh Ripping Cunt, and then we had an inspiration from Gutelux on their one song that's called Sucking a Cock of a Vietnamese Veteran. It's that type of song, Gutelux. Yeah, they also one of our inspirations. And then we just went on and we wrote Lords of Gore, Zombie Apocalypse, and the newer, and Gangbang by Changs. That one's very fun to perform. And then we made like a self-titled song called ROFR, basically explaining like why we do what we do and what is the message we're trying to get across. And then we started slowly changing into like a more death-oriented sound with like a little bit of slammy influences. And that's when we wrote The Assembly of Grotesque Mutilation. Funny thing about that song is we literally wrote it at a band practice, and after band practice we went to play the show and we played that song. Yeah. And now like our newest thing is Midnight Meat Train is one of our newer songs, and our newest one is Incestual Zombie Rape. Yeah, and if there's anything else, we come from Middelburg. I don't know what it is about Middelburg. It's like being the brutal incubator of the scene. I mean, Displeased, Bleeding Spawn, and now ROFR. Like, I don't know. There's something about Middelburg. I guess it's all the Christians and stuff around us. Like, it's such a weird town. Like, everyone hates heavy music, but then there we are. Like, when we do practice for Displeased, we literally play across a graveyard in Dalmo's garage. It's like there's a graveyard right there. So like, what's more brutal than that? Eh?
You actually touched exactly on one of my questions I was going to ask. Like, if there's something in the water in Middelburg, because it comes like just the sickest, goriest bands come out of Middelburg, and like I guess it's that Beasting skate shop is kind of like a breeding ground for brutality almost. Like I'm sure in the future there's going to be other younger bands that carry on that sort of tradition.
And hopefully we can be like a little bit of inspiration to them. Like we never even thought that it would be possible to actually like make it in the scene. But when like seeing Bleeding and Displeased and like they come from like the small little town, they were also like a huge inspiration to actually like get us going. And they've been there for us if we have like any questions in the beginning, and like they helped us with recording. Dalmo helped us with bass before we had Ashy. So those guys are absolute legends.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, let's actually chat to Ash a little bit, because you've actually got a little bit of a different... No, we actually wanted to actually just find out a little bit from Ash, because you actually come from more a thrash background with Disarmageddon, and obviously joining now Resurrection, it's a little bit of a musical change. So sonically, like, how's the process been in writing now with Resurrection as opposed to the thrash vibes with Disarmageddon?
Well, basically, yeah, as you said, predominantly thrash background. That's always been like my main influence, especially as a bass player. But you know, when it comes down to it, I love music that's really heavy, very rhythmic, very groovy. So that's where my love and appreciation for ROFR comes in as well. But yeah, it's a bit of a shift, a very fast stretch, because it's, you know, more groove orientated. It gets you going, like in the sense that you want to just, you know, dance to the music. But yeah, it's I seem to have adjusted well to that, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Yeah, that's sick. And staying on that sort of note, like obviously thrash is like normally in like standard tuning or like a step down, and slammy stuff is a lot lower tuning. So maybe you could like talk to us about your like gear and like what tunings you use compared to like Disarmageddon and Arcs.
Yeah, sure. Great question. So I predominantly play 5-string basses. I'm a wall guy. I have my main bass currently is a 5-string rock bass Corvette. You may have seen that a lot on stage when I gig. Yeah, so basically with this Armageddon standard tuning, but all I do with ROFR is I tune down half a step and I'm in A sharp. So it's very versatile. So, and I use the same bass, or both bands basically. And then I go into a bunch of effects and mainly some drive pedals. So that's where a lot of my tone comes from, and into the back line and that sort of thing. I prefer playing direct into the PA. It gives a sound a bit more upliftment, so to say. You can feel the bass when you play direct into the soundboard.
Sick.
All right. Oh yeah. Well, actually, I want to actually move back to Theo, because I'm not actually done with the lyricism and the imagery topic here. We're not done with that. So yeah, you've shot off a few names of some tracks that you guys have done. It's visually grotesque. It's like audibly groovy, but in some weird way, there tends to be almost like a tongue-in-cheek, comical sense to it. Was that your intention going into it?
Oh, definitely. Like if I can reference our new song that I sent you the snippet of, like literally, the song is about basically guys having weird incestual thoughts about their sisters, and something goes wrong in their biology, and like in this cerebral cortex, something just like snaps, and they have like this lustful urge to just like literally fuck their sisters. And that is basically like they become like zombies. And in the song as well, it's incest. Sorry, like it's difficult for me to remember lyrics if I don't hear the song. Just bear with me for just a second. Sorry.
All good, man.
It's always good to delve into the lyricism here, because we can tell this is a very deep topic. It's definitely something that is it's spoken around the cooler like every day. People like
exactly. So literally in the song, one of the lyric lines is disturbing acts of incest resulting in a global fuck fest. Like, I mean, if that's not tongue in cheek, I don't know what is. And like a rule of thumb, when I think of song names or lyrics, if I don't crack a smile when I mention the song name, it's not good enough. So if I say Gang Bang by Changs, I can't do it without smiling. Or like the new song that we were busy writing, Cannibalistic Devourment of a Skull-Fucked Cadaver. For me, that's beauty. And the whole thing, groovy, bone-crushing romance, like anything can be romantic if your mind is sadistic enough, So yeah, that's and it makes people smile, like if we say like this next song is called Gang Bang by Changs or Zombie Apocalypse, it makes people smile, and they're like, okay, cool, yeah, let's go listen to this, And then sometimes we pull the people in with our groovy riffs and like some gutturals and stuff. Obviously, we not everyone's taste, and some people will just look at us as like, what is this? But the people that can appreciate and understand it, like it's for those people that we play. Those people like in the pit moshing around or coming up to the show afterwards and say like, hey dude, like that was amazing, like just like asking some questions and stuff. So yeah, and I love showing people my lyrics and stuff, and just having someone smile makes my day.
Smile, throw up. I mean, I guess it's all relative,
You mentioned some new songs. Does that mean that there's some new recorded material coming out? And what can we expect? And do you have any sort of idea when we can expect? Are we getting an EP from you guys, a second EP, or are you guys aiming to do an album now?
I think at the moment we more concentrated on trying to up our production value. Weren't very happy with the quality of the EP, unfortunately. And we're just trying to up our production quality, and we're focusing mainly on singles for the time being, especially with like this whole COVID bullshit. It's difficult to actually like go to Middelburg and like record the guitarist and everything. Now things are a little bit more lax. I do have a few songs recorded on guitar. I'm just waiting on the drumming for that, and yeah, then it's time for me to hit the studio and mix and master. And like time frames, I can't exactly say, but one of our singles, which is Incestual Zombie Rape, should be coming out in the next month or so.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess let's double back to Ash. I mean, now that you've joined the band pretty much full time and whatnot, and it's actually like a 3-piece band, if I'm correct. How's the whole writing process been compared to previous bands that you've worked with in the past?
Well, it's a lot more simple, because simple in the sense that it's like really groovy songs. So it's not like super technical, but also simple in the sense that everyone gels together. So like we're all pretty much on the same pace, or rather the same page, in terms of songwriting and musical direction. So everybody just gels well.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make a quick correction there. We are 5 members. It's Ash, Vian, Karines, myself, and Desmond. Yeah.
All right, and Desmond. Yeah, for sure. My bad. Shout out to Desmond. Anyway, well, I mean, I guess you did touch on that earlier. A lot of groove in this music. Obviously, like when it comes to brutal slamming death metal, there's kind of a gray area involved with it. You can go the full tilt like Cranium or whatnot, or you can go more like groove orientated with a lot of hooks and, maybe in the case of a band like Vulvodynia, rather big like slam breakdowns near the end. You guys seem to be changing your style a little bit from that of the previous EP. Maybe that has something to do with Ash joining, but in your guys' opinion, I mean, how important is it to kind of evolve your sound as a band moving forward?
I believe it's very important. The thing is, like, if you listen even to the songs on the EP, each little song has its own little unique, like, niche, if you will, like, of sound. And like if you listen to Fucked Inside and you listen to Zombie Apocalypse, there's like a complete difference in like the type of sound that we're portraying there. So like it's difficult we don't really have a set style. The guitarist think of a riff, Desmond grooves something on drums, and then I just take that and like I go write some lyrics. Like I don't think that we can even say that we have like a set sound that we want to go for. It's just constantly evolving. Maybe one day we'll like hit that wall and then we're like, okay, you know what? I'm really happy with this song. Let's write more things like this. But at the moment, it's just all over the show. It's literally just having fun and making songs from the fun we're having.
Sick. I think I'll chat to Ash quickly and ask him, like what's your favorite gig that you've ever played in general? I'll get across to Theo to ask this as well. But Ash, like favorite gig in general that you've played, and favorite gig with ROFR as well.
Well, I got a chance to go down to Bloemfontein 3 times actually consecutively, and ironically each time was with a different band. So I went down first time in 2017 with Arcs, then 2018 with Disarmageddon, and then last year at Metal Circuit 5 with ROFR. And yeah, response was great. Crowd was awesome. It was such an experience. And yeah, that was basically my favorite show with ROFR.
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
guys,
Well,
my internet went out there for a second. I didn't get the.
yeah, I think we missed that, but it's all right. Welcome back there, Theo. We've got any peeps that are watching this now are like, whoa, what the hell just happened? It was cool. It was a teleportation trick there. Anyway, so let's bring you back to the conversation, and let's actually go talk a little bit about Displeased Disfigurement, because you are actually one of the vocalists that are involved with it, and you guys have started actually jamming together again. So yeah, I got to ask, are we going to hear some new material in 2021? Maybe another album? What's in the works?
Yeah, definitely. A new album is going to be coming in 2021. It's going to be absolutely sick. Like I've heard some of the songs already. I can't give any spoilers, but we're starting on vocal recording as soon as I get my Shure SM7B, which I'm very excited for.
That's going to be sick. Do you have a home studio at all for any of the recordings, or is it always commuting to the guys at Bleeding Spawn to go do the recordings?
Mostly they just send it to me, and then I book myself a room and I just go do the recordings. I used to live in Middelburg, so it was much easier. Like Domo can just come to me and like we would record vocals together. But now, yeah, they just send me the song, and when I have some time, I get myself like a little soundproof room, and I've got my mic and everything, and then just hoy.
Just go. Well,
Just go.
So I'm kind of wondering, because we are actually kind of delving near the end of this chat for tonight. Like I said, we kind of the brutal death metal genre. It's a really big global genre. It's a big global community. There's been a little bit of talk with the guys from Bleeding Spawn, and you see it a lot on the Resurrection merch, the South African SADM emblem. Do you guys because that's the one thing I've noticed. You see in a lot of countries, most of the brutal death bands, they usually would have their insignature connector be like IN death metal for Indonesian death metal. How important do you think that actually is? That little bit of a emblem to kind of say this is South African death metal to the global metal community.
I think that's really important, actually. It's like a little stamp of approval, you know, like from South Africa is like, here guys, like check this out. Like we don't just have Boere Musiek and Kurt Darren and stuff here in South Africa. We actually, like, we have some brutal people here, and we make some awesome music. So like, give it a listen. And same with other countries. Like if I see an emblem of, like you say, INDM, like I know this band is from Indonesia. It's just like a little stamp to show like, okay, this is where I'm from. Like, listen to my music, and like, well, I don't know. I guess it's just like, if you go to a post office and you see like all the different stamps from the different countries, you know exactly where that one needs to go, you know? Sorry, that was a bit of a weird segue there, but...
It works. It works. I'm kind of wondering, Ash, I mean, this is a weird thing, because I'm talking to 3 musicians here that I've been in and continue to be in a lot of bands. And, I mean, it's kind of something I guess I could ask both of you guys, but I'll start off with you, Ash. What do you think the future is post-lockdown for the SA metal scene moving forward? What with a lot of the clubs falling under pressure and whatnot? Do you see things getting back to normal anytime soon?
Well, in my honest opinion, it's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle. Because if you're looking at the SA metal scene, it's, you know, the quality doesn't match the support and the backing. Those two don't coincide with each other at all. So I think we've got a lot of work ahead of us, especially you know, as the bands that are upholding the scene.
And you, what about you, Theo? What do you think the future is? Maybe we can pertain it in general, but also the brutal death scene.
Well, like, I'm hopeful. I'm sure things will slowly start like bouncing back. But if not, if there's not going to be any big shows, what I normally try to do is just like try and host my own and see how many people will actually like rock up. In the past, we've had like some success with our EP launch, and then the event that I created, the Onslaught of Krampus, which is like in December. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a thing this year, but I guess we all just need to try and work together, build the fan base again from scratch, because a lot of people fell out of contact with the scene with this whole pandemic here in South Africa. And it's difficult to do gigs at like venues and stuff, especially because the police are absolutely crazy at the moment with like the curfews and stuff. And I see this going on until maybe next year, middle of next year, the way things are at the moment.
I think so. It's like, I think it was one thing that Derek of Devil's Speak mentioned was the whole idea with the limitation of venues, when already the bands are trying to maximize the number of people to get through the door just so that they can get some pay. The fact that you're cutting it down by a third, so in some circumstances, it's almost not worth the effort for the bands to travel or commute to the gig itself. So, yeah, we're still hopeful, but we'll wait and see. I believe Rumors is still running their campaign, so we'll include a link there. We'll also include a link to some Fetal Remains merch that's available on the Draconem Teesprings. Any new merchandise in the cards? I know I've been talking to the Bleeding Spawn guys, and they help out a lot when it comes to the design work, especially Dom. Shout out to Dom. But yeah, any new merch in the cards to go with the new single?
Unfortunately, at the moment, things are a little bit bleak, especially with like work and everything, and like having pay cuts. And so at the moment, like the financials are just not like really up to scratch to create new merch. But hopefully next year we should be able to drop something new along with a few other singles.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I was a bit concerned this conversation was taking a dark turn, but we really pulled that around with a bit of hope for 2021. So
no,
appreciate
definitely,
that.
definitely. No, but 2021 is going to be our year.
Hell yeah, and we're rooting for you. We can't wait to hear more groovy, bone-crushing romance coming out of the humble city of Joburg. But yeah, Alec, I think that's it for another week. I think we've done good.
Yeah, no, but definitely. Thanks, guys, so much for taking the time to chat to us. I think we had a nice long-ish chat with some really good answers and some very eloquent answers as well. So
yeah, we might very well have to put an age restriction on this for future viewers, but that's how it goes. We're going brutal. That's what it's all about. So
exactly.
Yeah, again, thanks Ash, thanks Theo, thanks for joining us, and thanks everybody that tuned in tonight. Next week we're going to be wrapping up this Brutal Death Month, and we've got a hell of a guest. We've got a special Halloween feature. We're not going to mention it yet, but you guys can pretty much deduce from the guests we've had who the last one will be for this month. So yeah, tune in next week. We'll be back then, 7 p.m. And yeah, thanks again, guys, for joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys.